Mira, casi no te vas a hacer. Shalom. Can you hear me? Brother. ¿Me escuchas? ¿Cómo se ve? Voy a bajar la luz. Voy a hacerla de lado. Ok. Ajá. El display, ¿dónde está, güey? No lo veo, güey. Function menu. Es que ya lo abrí, ¿están functions? Display, ajá, display. Ajá, display, ajá. Ahí. Todo. A ver, ahí chécale. Ya lo voy a poner en su lugar. Ahí como ves, ¿qué se está moviendo? Bueno, es que estás viendo 10 segundos atrás. Algo se movió, ok. Pues zoom out, ahí está todo el zoom out. Ahí está todo arriba, todo afuera. No sé si ya lo ves ahora. Lo cierro un poquito. Ahí. Ahí lo dejo entonces. Ya estás, pues me hablas por cualquier instrucción. ¿Ya está vivo? Ahí lo dejo entonces. Okay. ¿Qué más? Sí, tengo que usar el tripié grande. Okay. Bueno, entonces pues, me dijo que si cuando alguien vaya a hablar que le haga yo un poco de zoom, que por lo regular va a estar todo afuera. Ok. Entonces ya estás grabando ahorita. Está en vivo. Está en vivo. Y entonces te voy a hacer record. ¿En qué momento? Y me voy todo derecho hasta que termine. Okay. ¿Cuánto tiempo va a ser? Ok. No hay break ni nada. Okay. Sí, sí, eso dijo. Ah, sí lo viste. Ok, pues entonces a las 10 empiezo. Sale, hermanito. Gracias, abrazos. ¿Unas chelitas te vas a disparar? Unos burritos. El otro día mi hijo me dio dinero así y le traía una bolsa de qué pendejo,
I see you. Ahí en la rumba va la gente que ya se conoce, la gente que ya tiene como sí, ya, ellos digo, pero a mí yo no sé que venía a la parada. Y yo veo a la gente así, yo voy a empezar a hablar de que yo quisiera hacer. Oh, yeah. How are you? Yeah, we use the right spot. You have to change the equipment, but it's singing right now. I think it's gonna be sound. Oh, okay, good.
Their sound is fine. No, you're fine, you're fine.
Good morning. Please be seated. Thank you very much. Welcome, family and visitors from far and near, members of our faculty, members of the leadership team, your board of directors, and most importantly, our graduating senior class of 2023. I'm very relieved we're outside in the morning in the beautiful sunshine, although the smoke from Canada, you know, hey, we can deal with it. Today, guys, is a day of celebration and honoring you, and you're going to get lots of advice from very well-intentioned adults. Maybe you've heard the philosophical debate that if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around, does it make a sound? How about if one makes a mistake and no one is around, does it still cause pain and hurt? For those of you that own diesel trucks, you're going to know the catastrophic mistake I made Thursday evening. I poured my Blue Death into my diesel gasoline tank. And I realized as the last drop was going in, and I'm facing a multi-$1,000 bill, well, I didn't realize. I lost my mind. I'm yelling, I'm kicking the diesel container fluid. I am losing it. No one's around, except my poor dog hiding in the garage. So I had the eureka moment of my advice for you. There's a couple of different kinds of mistake, the physical ones. And when you make that kind of a mistake, pretty easy to repair. Burn the dinner, leave the cat outside in the rain, whatever. Those are easy mistakes to fix, if not costly. Making mistakes is part of the human condition. We all do it. It's the emotional mistakes that affect others that challenge us the most. Then we must be tasked, as President Lincoln stated, to look for the better angels of our nature. I still make mistakes. Learning to fix mistakes is a lifelong challenge. It's not as simple as mastering the 5-paragraph essay or computing a theorem. Just as we have taught you to read, write, and do math and many other things, I hope we have instilled in you the integrity to understand dealing with your fellow human beings will always be challenging, but it will also be very rewarding. I congratulate you, seniors. And now I would like to introduce Mrs. Tammy England, one of our board members, but most importantly today, proud parent.
Good morning. I'm Tammy England, and I have my oldest child graduating today, Lizzie England. Congratulations, seniors. Today marks the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice that you have made. Before you walk across this stage, I want to take a moment to reflect with you on the journey you have finished, as well as the one you're about to embark on. You've all worked so hard to get to this point, and you should be immensely proud of yourselves. Twin Peaks Classical Academy is a school that takes seriously its role in shaping the values and character of your life. While academic knowledge is undoubtedly important, it is equally important for you to learn life values and character development. We have some fantastic teachers, admin, and staff here at Twin Peaks who have invested countless hours and energy into your lives, standing beside you and cheering you on as you walk your different paths. They have helped you develop a strong work ethic, a sense of discipline, and a drive for excellence. They've been your guides and mentors, always pushing you to be your best self. But even more than that, this school has given you a sense of community and belonging. You've formed lasting friendships and created memories that will stay with you forever. The bonds you have made here will help you navigate the challenges and triumphs of the future. I've enjoyed getting to know many of you over the past several years, both as a coach and as a parent. I've been privileged to work with you, to watch you struggle to learn new things, and to push yourselves to grow, and ultimately to see you succeed and become great young men and women of character who I am proud to call friends. By challenging yourselves and taking risks in your studies and extracurriculars, you have learned to develop the resilience and determination you need to succeed. As you move on to the next chapter of your lives, take with you these lessons, knowing you're better prepared for what is ahead. Continue to strive for excellence, to embrace the power of community, and to make a positive influence in the world. And never forget the impact this school experience has played in shaping who you are today. I'll miss seeing you all in the halls. Don't be strangers around here. Congratulations, class of 2023.
And now, guest directing, Mr. Wixom will be leading our Twin Peaks Classical Academy Choir. And now I would like to introduce your faculty address, Dr. Aaron Moe.
Thank you, seniors, for the invitation to deliver this speech. I don't take the circumstances nor the challenge lightly. What could I possibly say in the next few minutes that you'll actually remember 5 weeks from now, let alone 5 decades? But I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. And I have a few things I need to get off my chest about song. Yes, you heard me right, song. As you graduate and as you turn across the threshold toward a new beginning, I want you to know that you are surrounded by song. My evidence? Pythagoras. But before you tune me out, just give me a chance to explain. It's important. From an existentialist point of view, Pythagoras' work on ratios and music is much more significant than his work on triangles. Remember, he is the one that recognized how a stringed instrument necessarily depends upon perfect ratios. An open string is the root note. The fifth note is exactly, precisely 2/3 of the string. A fourth note is exactly 3/4 of a string. After this observation, Pythagoras postulated that wherever we find a ratio in the cosmos, that ratio could be represented musically. The planets in their orbits manifest a song. But this idea is yet to register with most humans. Most humans hear about this crazy idea of the harmony of the spheres and they dismiss it. They look on their smartphone and they learn that planets travel through frictionless space and therefore the planets don't make a sound, let alone make a harmony. And so they conclude Pythagoras' concept of planetary harmony is balderdash. Sheer nonsense. I suggest, though, Pythagoras would have said, frictionless space, of course, but that doesn't change the idea. You see, planetary orbits manifest ratios, and those ratios could be represented musically as well. And imagine how Pythagoras would have responded to Mandelbrot's work on fractals. Mandelbrot helped provide the mathematics necessary to explore and understand the ratios within the fractal cosmos. Even the fractal ratios of broccoli could be represented musically. All of it, from the murmurating electrons within a snowflake to the solar blast from the sun, all of it is song. I have no doubt that C.S. Lewis had a healthy dose of Pythagoras on his mind when, in The Magician's Nephew, he has Aslan breathe Narnia's universe into existence through the breath of song. Lewis writes, "A voice had begun to sing. Its lower notes were deep enough to be the voice of the earth herself." In a similar vein, Theodore Rutke, a poet in the 7th grade realms of gold, wrote, "Granite on granite, pressing the earth down, each singing thing straining to come to form." So look at the haze, look through the haze at that mountain range behind us. We have Arapaho Peak and Navajo Peak and Apache Peak and Shoshone Peak, Pawnee Peak, Mount Toll, Paiute Peak, Mount Audubon, Mount Alice, the gnarly north face of Mount Meeker, and the sheer vastness of the vertical face of the Diamond of Long's Peak. That range is a singing thing straining to come to form. Especially here on the western edge of the Great Plains, we are surrounded by song. And the poets keep telling us this over and over and over again. Just look at how song infuses Homer's storytelling. And look at the titles of Walt Whitman, a descendant of Homer. Titles such as Song of the Open Road, Song of the Redwood Tree, Song of the Rolling Earth, I Sing the Body Electric, Song for All Seas, All Ships, Proud Music of the Storm, Song of Myself, I Hear America Singing. Walt Whitman's barbaric yawp was a song. We are surrounded by song. You are surrounded by song. But as you graduate, I also want you to know that you are a song. Your skeletal system branches from one bone into two, into a delta of fingertips, a delta of ratios. Your circulatory system branches into song. Your nervous system branches into dendrites, branching and bifurcating into song. All of the branching systems of the human body could be represented as ratios, and these ratios, Pythagoras claims, could all be represented musically as well. But there's more. And you invited me for a speech, so I got a long speech. Okay, there's more. In our recitation, we read over and over again Walt Whitman's A Noiseless Patient Spider. I hope you can see that for Whitman, the noiseless sounds of the spider silk forming in the abdomen of a spider is a song, and that song shares a deep kinship to the whispering energy at work when sound swirls into syllable and when those syllables swirl into words. Okay. And when those words are launched forth into the eddies of the wind, filament, filament, filament out of itself. Every time you open your mouth to speak, the energy that carries forth the words is a song. You are surrounded by song. You are a song. You have an education that foregrounds 3 headwaters of Western civilization. I can look at each headwater and see a common truth. We can look at the Babylonian tradition, the Hebrew tradition, and the Greek tradition, and find evidence that human nature includes this thing that we might call a divine spark. In the 20th century, we see this idea surface in the novel Their Eyes Were Watching God. Hurston includes a folktale that suggests that every human being, as part of our nature, has a little spark, complete with the shine and a song. You are a song, so let your little light shine. It's this little light that gave our founding fathers the confidence to claim that some things are self-evident about being human. So if it is true that we are surrounded by song, if it is true that you are a song, then what is our response? What should we do? I argue, graduates, that it is time for you to claim your song. We know that both self-preservation for the individual and yet compassion for a community are possibilities for humans. It's a tension we live with for our entire lives. And I recognize that my charge to you to claim your song pushes you towards the individual, toward taking care of yourself. It does have the potential to push you into that monstrous cyclopean gaze that only considers what is good for the individual and not what is good for the larger communities to which you belong. But speaking as your teacher, who cares about each one of you as an individual and as a human being, I take the risk and I focus this speech on self-preservation. I want you to take care of yourself. How? Claim your song. My source, Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption. Yes, he's a fictional character, but often fictional characters are the ones who suggest to us what might be possible. In the movie, Andy is sentenced to life imprisonment for a crime he did not commit. During his sentence, he made some decisions that got him thrown into solitary confinement twice. The second time he spent a month. The first time he spent 2 weeks. Now this is solitary confinement. He's in a cramped space. The ceiling is low. He cannot even sit up. He has no light. Total darkness surrounds him. He receives just enough food and water to survive, and at the end of that first 2-week stint, his buddies eagerly pester him to find out if he's still balanced, if he still has some sort of interior stability. And you can't tell if Andy is being completely serious, but he claims that he's okay. He's fine. It was no big deal. Why? He had Mozart with him. It's like, are you kidding me? Mozart? But the scene suggests that Andy maintained some ordering of his interior life through playing and replaying Mozart over and over again in his auditory imagination, and that the music helped him withstand the pressures of total isolation and darkness. He claimed his song, and Mozart helped keep the divine spark within him alive. And I recognize it's fiction, but listen to what Plato says about music. Music is moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination. It is the essence of order and lends to all that is just, good, and beautiful. Aristotle, who was a student of Plato, observed that rhythm and melody come naturally to humans. We all first felt the rhythmic iambic pulses of our mother's heartbeat before we were born, which awakened the ordering principles of song within our nature. Song is one of those currents running deep within us and all around us. It is powerful, but many people are deaf to it. Graduates, I invite you to open your senses to it. You are surrounded by song. You are a song. Claim your song and find a way to let that spark hum across the arc of your lifetime, all the way down to your final breath.
And now I would like to introduce our salutatorian, Elena Sickow.
Greetings, fellow adults. It is I, your salutatorian. When Miss Cook informed me that I was salutatorian, she also told me, in a lovely poem, that I needed to write a speech for graduation. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never written a salutatorian speech before. I had no clue what they're supposed to be about. So, being a well-educated student, after learning for 13 years at this school, I turned to the most trustworthy and reliable of sources for aid, the internet. The first thing ChatGPT told me to do was look to the past. What fond memories do I have with my fellow classmates that I could reminisce on? To be honest, not many came to mind. I tend to keep to myself. I don't really go out with my classmates that often. The second thing it said to do was use inspirational quotes, so in the wise words of Bilbo Baggins, I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. But memories or not, I needed to write this speech, and at the time of writing, only one event was fresh in my mind that had happened only 3 days before, Senior Ditch Day. I almost didn't go, but I did because I promised Lizzie I would if she went, and let me just say I did not regret it, even a little bit. I thought it would be boring, just eating and talking for a whole 6 hours. Who does that? But reality was much better than that. The first thing we did after claiming approximately 1 billion tables for our stuff was mess around in the river, which was freezing, by the way. I recall saying to Lizzie that she couldn't pay me to go in, and staring in awe and fearfulness at people like Jason and David who went in with shoes and socks still on. I did end up going in eventually, and it was a lot of fun because I got to spray Evodia with water guns without being afraid of retaliation. The rest of the day also exceeded expectations. We swam, we ate, we bought ice cream, we got sunburned. I think we even reached Einstein's definition of insanity because at least half an hour of that afternoon was spent watching people ride down a kid-sized zipline and fly in the air at the end of it, laughing hysterically at the exact same thing over and over and over again. But by far the highlight of it all was jumping off the cliff into the river. When I learned that was what we were doing next, my mind instantly jumped to the saying, if your friends all jumped off a bridge, would you? Most parents probably hope that their kid would answer no, but funnily enough, when I talked to my mom about it afterwards, her reaction was, and I quote, I loved jumping off that cliff. Thanks, Mom, for always watching out for my safety. Hearing her say those words after the event only deepened the regret I was beginning to feel, because I was one of about 4 people who didn't jump off. I had a plethora of excuses to justify it if anyone had asked. The water's too shallow, I don't want to get my hair wet, the river's too cold. But it didn't really matter, because even though I could justify my choice to others, it didn't stop me from regretting it. If I'm being honest, it's the only thing I would have done differently that day. You see, as teenagers, or rather adults now, we We often make decisions to avoid fear or discomfort. I almost didn't attend Senior Ditch Day entirely for these reasons. I almost didn't swim in the river. I didn't jump off the cliff. I'm sure everyone could think of a moment they missed out on purely to avoid some worse fate, embarrassment, discomfort, shame. But as soon as you recognize that fear, you can work to fight against it. I know one of my problems is that I stay in my shell too often, so this year I've tried to be intentional about branching out more, whether that be talking to someone for the first time or deepening friendships I've had for years. Some of the best memories I've made were the fruits of this project. Singing on the bus with my volleyball team, painting the parking lot, debating morality in AP Lit with the seniors, and Grace. The list goes on and on. People who I'd hardly spoken more than 4 words to at a time I now see every day, like Melanie in statistics, playing chess at lunch with Noah, or chatting with Amelia during study hall instead of working. My point in telling you all this is not only to relay what I've learned from these experiences, that every senior here is incredibly unique and beautiful and worth getting to know, but also to encourage you to work through anything that might hold you back, because the best experiences, the happiest moments, come from growth. And if there's one thing we all need stepping into this next phase of our lives, it's the ability to conquer any obstacle that comes our way and grow through the struggle. And speaking of struggles, I'm not really sure how to end a salutatorian speech, so I'll leave you all with a quote, again from the sage Bilbo Baggins. I'm going now. I bid you all a very fond farewell. Goodbye.
And now your valedictorian, Area Gurung.
Before I begin this speech, I must thank those who have helped me to get to where I am today. This past year has been jam-packed with a whole load of events, from college applications, volunteering, and keeping my grades up. But I couldn't have done these things without the support and guidance of my mother and father, Lakshmi and Robbie Gurung, and my beloved girlfriend, Delaney. They've taught me to keep a positive mindset in the most difficult of times, and to keep pursuing my dreams. Now, this speech. We've all gone through middle school. It was a time in our lives where we were still getting ourselves situated, but we all shared one thing in common. We all looked forward to some good prospect, this being high school. It's literally in the name, high school. But besides the point, we got there. As we entered our freshman year, however, things suddenly took a drastic turn as COVID hit us like a semi-truck. Schools are shut down, unemployment rates skyrocketed, and this foreign concept of social distancing created a cloud of tension between us. This naturally created some wacky times for us, with online classes, no in-person school. Heck, you can't even get a haircut in person anymore. But despite all of these changes, however, we managed to persevere through the heartache and make the most of what we had. We had each other, a community to build something off of, and we made sure to put it to good use. This past year has been a breath of fresh air to us all, as COVID restrictions dwindled, and this senior community grew tighter. From pajama days to taking parallel parking to a whole new level, the class bonded through senior sunrises through sunsets. And it is this community that we must praise for persevering in the face of uncertainty, from COVID to graduation. Can we get a round of applause for the graduating seniors this year? Of course, we couldn't have done this without the support of the faculty. From my experience, and one that most others would agree with, the staff at Twin Peaks have exhibited an immense dedication towards enlightening and educating the leaders of tomorrow. They have never taken a day off from pursuing the truth with a capital T, and they shall forever remain in our hearts the torches that lead us through the dark. We must also thank our parents and guardians for being here when help was most needed, and for sacrificing everything they had in order to give us a better future. Can we also get a round of applause for our parents and guardians and faculty? Now that we've taken a moment to reflect on these past 4 years, we've all learned some lessons throughout the journey, and I would like to take this opportunity to share them in 3 segments with you all, including seniors, alumni, parents, and staff, as I believe that in life there's no such thing as truly mastering a subject, for we are all lifelong learners. The first lesson would come as a result of the great vastness of this earth. There is so much to do and so much to see that we must find something that we are passionate about and pursue that with an insatiable determination and curiosity. Don't let anything get in the way of you and that dream. The second lesson would be to take advantage of every single opportunity that greets you, from after-school projects to community service, and I emphasize this, success is not determined by sheer luck. No, it is when hard work meets opportunity. The third and final lesson is that of time management. To find the perfect balance between work and play. And I'll give you this image, a well-rounded and carved statue is much more appealing than a single-faced one. With that in mind, I would like to end this speech on a high note by addressing the senior class itself. There's a great future ahead of us, and the doors open to us may seem daunting, but we must stay determined to pursue our dreams. Seniors, I ask you all, let us be the light that leads others through the dark. Let us be the resounding example that all others look to. And let us be the tip of the spear that bores its way through the darkness. Seniors in class of 2023, let us be that example, and let us be great for the future. Thank you all.
And the moment you've been waiting for, we will begin presenting diplomas in just a minute.
Lizzie Anglin. Chloe Hadassah Arndt. Zeke C. Baker. Benicio I. Chavez Riedfeld. Evodio Chico Jr. Stefan G. Charan. Aryan Gurung. Amelia L. Hayden Bowles. David J. Hayes. Ian Landenberger. Martinez. Emily Mosqueda Orona. Hannah Mondico Palomo. Melanie Nicole Hall.
Thank you, bro. I'll take this thing off.
Jasmine Maria Pereira Cervantes. Kaylee L. Reynolds. Emily C. Richardson. Jason Gregory Ship. Elena Sickow. Noah R. Stadler. Anna Tepp. Annie Tepp. Robert Van Allen. Riley Elizabeth Wilson. Congratulations, graduates.
And now I would like to introduce Mrs. Chris A., our Board of Directors President, and some scholarships for some students here.
Good morning again, everyone. Thank you for attending today. Today I'm pleased to honor with some scholarships from the Board of Directors, Mr. Noah Stadler. Noah's receiving this award for his academic achievements. Wait, there's more. And next, for character, Miss Elena Sickow. And finally, Miss Anna Tepp for leadership.
And now, closing remarks by Mr. David Yu, your high school principal.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say on Wednesday, when we were watching that senior video, I noticed something on one of the final slides. It said the end of the chapter. And it reminded me when I was in high school and I was in a Greek mythology class. We were discussing the Greek myth of Sisyphus. a king who was punished for cheating death by rolling a boulder up the hill only for it to when it reached the top, for it to roll back down. There was a French philosopher named Albert Camus, and this is how he described what Sisyphus went through. He says, or how we view, he says, one sees merely the whole effort of a body straining to raise the huge stone, to roll it, and to push it up 100 times over. One sees the screwed up face, the tight cheek against the stone, the shoulder braced, the clay-covered mass, the foot wedging against it, the fresh start with arms outstretched, the wholly human security of two earthly clotted hands. At the very end of this long effort, measured by skyless space and time without depth, the purpose is achieved. Then Sisyphus watches the stone rush down in a few moments toward that lower world, whence he will have to push it up again toward the summit. He goes back down to the plain. So Sisyphus was caught in this eternal loop, never seeing the fruits of all his hard work. He is caught in all this meaningless task without end. He is caught in what Albert Camus says is the absurd. And at that time in my high school class, my classmate leaned over to me and he said, "That's our lives." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, think about this. When we started school, we were in kindergarten. We were at the bottom of the hill. And then we worked hard and pushed our way up to 5th grade, only to graduate 5th grade and then watch that rock go tumbling down. And we had to start all over in 6th grade, in middle school. And then we worked hard and pushed our way up to 8th grade. And then that rock tumbled back down as we went to high school." And he said, "Then there's college, and then there's a job. And maybe there's a promotion in the job where you have to learn new things. Maybe you have to find another job." And he said, "This is our life." And I thought about that. The myth of Sisyphus taught us that life is full of suffering, unavoidable suffering. And that my friend pointed out how accurate this myth is to our lives. However, Albert Camus put a different spin on it. He pointed out that when the stone is rolling back down, Sisyphus must take time to walk down to retrieve that stone. If this myth is a tragedy, Camus states that it is a tragedy only because Sisyphus believes it is. He says, but what if during the descent, Sisyphus is full of joy? He says, after all, he does return to the bottom to repeat the task, so it can't be full of tragedy. Camus says that suffering and joy share the same mother. They are inextricably intertwined. You cannot feel happiness without suffering a little, and you can likewise cannot experience suffering without some kind of happiness. So as Sisyphus returns to the beginning of his journey again, the returning can be one of either suffering or one of happiness. Is this possible, you think? And I respond with an emphatic yes. If you've been with us since your freshman year, you've read Oedipus. And though Oedipus tries to deny his fate, he must live through killing his father, marrying his mother, and he's so ashamed of himself that he pokes his own eyes out so he doesn't have to witness what's going on. But how does Oedipus respond? Oedipus says, despite so many ordeals, my advanced age, and the nobility of my soul makes me conclude that all is well. All is well, that's what he says. And also, you seniors give me hope. As you have lifted this boulder to this culmination that we call graduation, you will, as you stated in your video, end this chapter and start a new chapter. But is this suffering? No. Look around. I see tons of people, friends and family, and this place is not feeling suffering. It is full of joy. So Camus concludes his paper by saying, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. And it is easy for me to imagine that because of all you seniors. This moment is one where you will find happiness in moving on to the next chapter of your life. So as you begin this next chapter, remember Sisyphus. Though his fate is not one you would desire, remember when you're going through a difficult time, remember Sisyphus. Remember Sisyphus when you feel like giving up. And remember that there is always potential for joy. Be not the victim of circumstances, be the victor of circumstances. And as victors go, I ask you all to stand victorious with me here. to symbolize the transition from high school to all your future endeavors, please turn your tassels from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present to you the Twin Peaks graduating class of 2023.
¿Van a querer ir por lo ¿Se trata de mi laptop? Ok, estoy aquí, vamos. Lo voy a intentar. Dale, hermano. Exacto, exacto, no me aguanto tan chingona que eres.
De verdad, mamá.